Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I know I'm a little bit early. Those of you who are on the various Discord groups with me probably saw my note. Hey, Lucky, good morning. Coral, Joe, Puddle. Hey, Prepper Cowboy, good morning. Yeah, West Texas will be in the triple digits and not ending in a zero. It'll be 101 to 104 for the next 5 days. And I've got some work to do in my shed, so I'm going to do this a little early and a little short so I can get out there, move my stuff around so I can get my butt back in the house. Because, yeah, I don't need to give myself a heat hangover. By the way, safety topic, for those of you who didn't hear it on my other live, that charity event we went to last week was in a tent. We were working, guys were going through golfing, and we were giving out food and drinks. And I didn't drink water or anything, to be honest with you. And then about 3 hours in, realized I hadn't peed in 3 hours. So I started drinking water and Gatorade. By then it was too late. I had the worst, I got like a heat hangover. Basically, it was the early stages of heat exhaustion. I should have known better. But you don't pay attention to it if you're busy and you're interacting with people and you don't realize you're not drinking as much water. So make sure you hydrate as it gets hotter, folks, because it's going to be a scorcher here soon. And Lucky, I don't know if you saw it, for those of you in Texas, but ERCOT put out a warning again that the power grid faces imminent issues. Let me see if I can get it for you guys so y'all can see it. But they're stating that yesterday, 5 power stations in Texas went out. I'm looking for that article. I had it and it disappeared on me. Here we go. So I'm going to switch to this screen real quick. And who else do we have in here? Things are heating up. Yeah, definitely. And Copycat, what's your temperature going to be like? Folks, throw what you expect the next few days to be, because I think we're all going to be in really hot weather. Hey, Sherry. Arkansas. Salt, sugar, potassium. Yeah, essentially Gatorade. And so one of my colleagues was at a different event and he started drinking booze. You know, I had half a beer and I was like, this isn't good. But he started drinking booze and he didn't drink water and he went pale. And then he got sick and they had to take him inside. And he said, I was laying on my back on my kitchen tile with no shirt on to cool me off. By the way, this is the same guy who we went to the hunting and he's like, yeah, leave your pack, we're just going to run and pick this guy up, and we were in the heat for 4 hours. So I see a trend here, buddy. You need to learn. My son has damaged his kidneys by not keeping for sure. And already a scorcher here. It's ridiculous hot in Indiana. Oh, so you're going to be in the triple digits as well. See, and people don't realize here it's very low humidity when it gets very hot. And I went from a very hot, humid environment to a very hot, not humid environment. And here it feels like the liquid just, it's gone. Like you don't sweat the way you would in a humid environment. You'll get sweaty because your sweat has nowhere to go and you can feel it. There you can't. Here you can't. It just, it's gone. So you don't realize how hot you are till you start getting sick. Been 90 here in Missouri but Missouri, y'all are, hey, flyover state, y'all are very humid, aren't you? Because you got several bodies of water going through the state, if I recall. Oh no, I had like 2 swallows of the beer. You know, we had a keg and I was like, ugh. Like my body knew it just wasn't the right thing. But yeah, there was one group of golf carts. They came by hammered. It was 9:30, y'all, and they had drank the whole day before. They drank that night. And these guys were hammered, and I told the guys I was working with. I'm like, this is a charity event, but I'm not putting my mouth on that man. He goes down, I'm going to shake the shit out of him and hope he revives, because uh, we just don't need that. Um, Go out and do my chores early in the morning. Yeah, and hence why. Hey, good morning, Shift. And Sherry, thanks for sharing that. See, folks, this is a good example of why it's important. Not only do you not feel good, you can actually do damage to your body. And I know I'm going to be outdoors. I got the bougie Starbucks cup for $1. They had them on sale because nobody would buy them. And it makes a great water cup. It's like a grown-up sippy cup. You can also put margaritas in there, but that probably would be an ill-advised idea this morning. Hey, good morning, Candy. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's the thing. It's so hot. Like, your normal go-to drinks just don't feel good. And actually, I'm going to share this story because I think this is, especially those of you in Texas, i.e., me and Lucky and a few others. Let's see. So ERCOT, which is our the Energy Reliability Commission of Texas, I believe it's what it stands for. ERCOT asked Texans to conserve energy with high temperatures throughout the weekend, creating a high demand for energy. The Reliability Council is asking Texans to conserve power. Unseasonably hot weather will be driving record demand. Oh, great. And they shot a guy in a Fort Worth nightclub. How fun is that? They're asking Texans to set their thermostats to 78 or above to avoid the usage of large appliances such as dishwashers between 3 and 8. So, and actually that probably will save you a little bit on your bills as well. Encore Electric, the largest transmission company and distribution, says it's monitoring weekends weather and is prepared to respond to outages. I will tell you that this last weekend we had a windstorm. Hey, Jesus Saves, welcome, welcome. Working outside of, yeah, you do. And I think that's what happened to me. And I was smart enough not to drink alcohol, but some of these guys were pie-eyed at 9:30. And I'm like, it feels cool for now, but it was dry and then it went hot. And I was walking my gear back and forth to one of the vehicles. And it wasn't but maybe a fifth, a quarter mile most. But after the third round trip, I said, I screwed up. I knew it. I felt my own symptoms, and I'm like, I need to go start drinking water, which I did, but the headache had set in. And then you just feel miserable for 3 hours. So that wasn't one of my smarter actions. I did get to use the Jackery at the tent, though, which was very cool. It's the baby Jackery with a smaller panel, and I set it all up, and we were running computers, Wi-Fi hotspots. I did figure out that baby Jackery with a computer, Wi-Fi hotspot, like a minimal demand, it lost 10% of its charge. It took about 3 hours to do that. No, maybe 15%. I was able to recharge it in this damn sunlight in about the same time. So if you need something, just an auxiliary device to charge up, those little Jackeries work really well. Yeah. Also, a swamp cooler, Coral. It's really just a fan you attach your hose to, or you pour water into the reservoir, and you can use that to keep cool as well. And again, I tested my generator. I have a dual fuel generator. I just tested the gas side yesterday, and that's what I have to store. So I got to move stuff around. Muggy here in Texas. Yeah, Candy. They say most of them keep their thermostats higher anyway to avoid costs. True, Candy. That's very true. And if you can pull it off, hey, Jesus Saves. Howdy, howdy. If you can pull it off, if you can do the 2 or 3 year contracts, you pay a little more, to the energy provider, but you kind of hedge yourself against a price increase. When I renewed my contract out here, I knew enough that the economy was coming back at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do the extended contract. I'm going to pay more per megawatt hour, but I figured the energy prices would go up because of the economy. What I didn't expect was we'd have the supply chain would take a second dump, and then Russia would get into a cat fight with Ukraine. So I actually may have saved myself a lot of pain, because some folks are paying a lot. Hey, Lucky. Yeah, Lucky's at work Saturday morning. I do appreciate her jumping in. Thank you. And she's supposed to have a live stream panel this weekend. I haven't checked email, Lucky, so if you sent me the time, I haven't seen it. But it's going to be some good topics. So when she posts the time and date for it to occur, make sure you go check it out. A bowl of ice in front of a fan. That's a great idea. See, and it's interesting because if you're acclimated to being outside, it's not as bad. But if your job keeps you indoors and then you go out, your body has not adjusted yet. You haven't adjusted your hydration yet. And that's usually when people start getting sick. And Lake of the Ozarks area, have a dam. Hey, in between. Good morning, Nick. Another Texan. Yeah, I'm in West Texas for now until the company moves me again. So I've been on the Gulf Coast, South Texas, West Texas. The only place left for the company to send me is East Texas. So that should be fun. So yeah, don't take my location at any point as a concrete thing, because I am the roaming prepper for a reason. The house we're in now is house number 9 for us. So yeah, I know here in Illinois, I'm on a budget. Ouch. Okay, well, yeah, see, and if the prices go up and you're not on like a fixed plan, which costs more, see, there's the risk. If they suddenly, some of these energy plans will change your price with the market price. And if the market goes up, your price suddenly goes up and you don't have a hedge. But then there's the flip side, is you're going to pay more. And if it doesn't go up, you're kind of SOL regardless. So yeah, you'll get used to the heat. It takes time though. So I have a colleague. Hey, Hudson, welcome, welcome. And go check out some of Mike's videos too. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. He'll be on my channel Tuesday night, unless one of us has work and we get screwed up, which has happened before. Six Shooter had come on one of my lives and we rescheduled 4 times because he has kids and the kid got sick, and then I had work, then he had work, then something. Oh, I got the Rona, and I sounded like Yoda, and then finally we were able to connect. So yeah, it's tough to coordinate because all of us are working, we're all busy. So folks, I'm getting Facebook messages. As I've mentioned to you guys, my neighborhood has a Facebook group, and it's very collaborative for the most part, right? So a lot of the neighbors, we bought a big thing of chips, right? Because now Sassy and I are like buying bulk because it saves money, and then whatever we don't eat, we'll long-term store or something, or we'll give to a neighbor and get something else. Anyway, we bought this thing of chips to go with our sandwiches for lunch, right? And we had like Doritos and Cheetos, and they had, it wasn't Funyuns. I'm not a fan of Funyuns, but it was some other chip, and it was god awful. Like that was the worst chip ever. The only one who liked it was the corgi, and only one of the corgis. The other one wouldn't touch it. So, but she eats anything. And we went on the Facebook group and said, "Hey, we got these chips. Nobody likes them. Does anyone want them?" And within 30 seconds, one of the other moms posted and said, "My kid loves those things." She said, "I hate them. He loves them." So I left him in a bag on the door. She came and collected him. A few days later, another guy found out he was relocating. Is another engineer for another company that I knew, and he said, "Guys, I got empty boxes. I got mason jars. I tried to get the mason jars; they were gone by the time I got there because there are a lot of canners in my area. Um, extra bicycle pumps. I mean, so if you have any kind of trading post on Facebook, that's a really good place. People can get rid of their stuff or sell it, and you make some cash if you have something you don't need, but you can find a deal. So diesel collapse is coming, yes, and actually, Hudson, that's going to be. I actually, well, actually, so my favorite Irishman, Sean Hannity, one of my favorite Irishmen, had a interesting convo about what Hudson just pointed out, or the bigger picture of it, which was the economy. Let me see if I can get that video rolling here, because I thought I'd share that with you as well. That was one of my. Here we go. Okay, let's see if I actually got rid of the commercial.
Dishonest press secretary in American history. She will be gone at the end of the week. The bad news,
Can you
her
guys hear that?
replacement is a full-blown tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist who thinks that many of her political opponents are racist, and we've got a full Hannity investigation into Karine Jean-Pierre coming up. But we begin tonight with this. The big guy, Joe Biden, his genius new plan to battle inflation. Take a look.
And I agree with what Chairman Powell said last week, that the number one threat is the strength, and that strength that we built is inflation. Look, I know you got to be frustrated. I know. I can taste it.
Inflation in this country, do you take any responsibility for your policies?
I think our policies help, not hurt. Think about what they say. The vast majority of the economists think that this is going to be a real tough problem to solve, but it's not because of spending.
I'm screaming at the TV. How have they helped, Joe? Now, since Joe has clearly lost any ability to communicate because of his cognitive decline, allow me to try to translate for him. There's no plan to curb inflation. By the way, it's not transitory either. There's no plan to lower gas prices. There's no plan to spur on economic growth. Or as Bloomberg reported, quote, inside the administration, there is a sense of frustration, doom, and some say magical thinking about inflation. Magical thinking? We're now on the verge of what is a devastating recession, coupled with record-setting inflation, and of course, on top of that, a supply chain crisis. And gas prices, yep, they just hit a brand new record high along with diesel prices. Now, the stock market is plunging right before our eyes. Fortunes, I mean fortunes, are being lost by the middle class in this country and people on fixed incomes in this country. That means their pensions, retirement funds, 401ks, they're getting wrecked in the market. There's a nationwide shortage of baby formula, and the White House is thinking about the economy in a magical way. Well, it's time for heads to roll. Joe's economic and energy policies, they're nothing but a complete and utter disaster. Biden's inflation is now costing you, the average American household, over $5,200 annually. And new numbers out today show the average American is paying $2,000 more per year just for gasoline. But nothing is going to change because the Democratic Party is ruled by socialists that are all part of this religious climate alarmist cult, and they will never retreat from their radical agenda. I don't see that ever happening. They don't seem to care if you, the American people, suffer. They don't care if the country implodes, so long as the system is fundamentally transformed the way they want and capitalism becomes a thing of the past. And according to them, we all must pay for our sins against Mother Earth and beg Iran and Venezuela and OPEC to produce the oil we could be producing ourselves. So no matter how high gas prices go, Biden's not going to open up drilling and fracking. He's not going to greenlight the Keystone XL pipeline. The Alberta premier said we'd be getting 900,000 barrels of Canadian oil a day. Had he let that continue, it'd be finished by now. And no matter how bad inflation gets, Joe's not going to stop spending either. As the economy gets worse and worse, the administration, they keep peddling more dumb excuses, one after another. You know, the usual Biden excuse. For example, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, she was supposed to be a brilliant economic mind. As it turns out, Janet has lost all touch with reality. She now wants you to believe that a future Supreme Court ruling on Roe v. Wade is the cause of Joe Biden's economic and energy policies and all the problems we had. I thought this was all caused by Putin and Donald Trump. I guess I was wrong.
If the draft of the court's majority holding in Roe versus Wade is the actual decision, what impact will the loss of abortion access mean economically for women?
Well, I believe that eliminating the right of women to make decisions about when and whether to have children would have very damaging effects on the economy and would set women back decades.
There won't be a loss of abortion access. There might be restrictions in some states, but there's going to be plenty of opportunities for everyone that wants one. Now, remember, this is the same Janet Yellen that promised inflation was transitory. Janet was wrong. Inflation is not transitory. Our economy is a train wreck. And yet Janet Yellen continues to toe the party line. At this point, she really is nothing more than a useful idiot. And it's past time that she sell off into retirement. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
And I know Sean Hannity, obviously, he's been tooting the horn about the president for a while, but he did a very good breakdown of all the little things that are happening. And the truth is, we can't find, people can't find formula. Going back to that Facebook group in my neighborhood, we've already seen a few families saying, hey, if anyone goes to the store and sees X brand of formula, if you can get it, we'll Venmo you the money. Which, you know, if I'm out there, I'm an empty nester. I go out there and I find brand X formula and somebody needs it, I'll spend an extra $10 and bring it. So, you know, the mom and the kids don't have to go out to the store. And again, it's not to be partial one way or the other, but it seems like just business 101. You have supply and demand, supply screwed up, so the prices go up. This is really simple. And the leaders are blaming everything but the fact that the supply chain screwed. And that's disturbing because I just don't understand what they're thinking here. So I'm looking at the baby formula thing has limited. Right. And again, that aside, that is not causing the inflation. The inflation's been going on for a year. Again, I checked. So the black beans that used to be 50 cents went up to 75. They're now $1.25. This has been over the last 24 months. Because I look at the same brand every time and I'm like, okay, it's one of my baby indicators, right? It's my little regional indicator. All of us see the gasoline prices, and that's bad. So the New York Post actually went and started trying to dig into the raggedy Saki. Said supply chain was our fault. Some of them are, and the rest are idiots. As he said, they just don't know. They've been told this magical fairy dust lie. Somebody's making money. You know, the computer guy with the glasses and the guy who used to be a Nazi youth overseas, those guys are making money. We're not. You know, it's funny because my family fought the freaking Nazis. And at this point, it's kind of like they came back, but in a different form. If any of you have not watched, and I know Marvel Comics and Disney are kind of on everyone's poo list, but watch The Winter Soldier, because that is when the Marvel Comic series got very dark in the movies. And they touch on this very subject, that these entities that we thought we got rid of during World War II and during the Cold War actually went to ground and have percolated up the ranks of government around the world. If you get a chance, watch it again because it's very interesting. Canada is euthanizing the poor. Oh Lord. But can somebody put a link to that video on the chat so folks can look? Hey, Mad Dog. Plane loads of baby has been and is being. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, I thought it was going to the border. I didn't know it was going all the way to Central America, but still. Yeah. And that's the best way to do it. Oh, hey, folks, look, I got behind on the chat, but your recipe for baby formula is now in the chat. And you can make it at home. So Nazis moved to America. Yeah, and Argentina, and they screwed up Argentina too. Although the food's really good and the people are nice, but they became the US government. Seriously, I should do, I wonder, because I've already gotten 2 copyright dings from YouTube because I'll like use some footage from a movie and then I'll comment on it. And I have to find the right combination of how to do that because I've already had one. They straight up took one of my videos down from a few months ago. I got an email saying, you cannot do this because blah, blah, blah. And then they said, we have simply removed it from your channel. And it's a, yeah. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Before building back better and a cyber slave. Yep. And cockroach milk. You know, Unknown Vector, that reminds me, what's that movie with the train that goes through the snow? Snowpiercer. And how the poor at the back of the train were fed. Yeah, communists kill more people than any other time. Oh, absolutely. Just start milk. Yeah. Yeah, so I found also if it's longer than 6 seconds, I can do it, but I have to have commentary on it. So I have to be talking or visible and in the chat. I can't do what I did the other thing, where I just played it and then we were talking in the chat. That they said no to, and that one got kicked. And then they dinged me on a few things. So no, you just, yeah, talk to your family doctor. Don't go to the frickin' CDC. So speaking of that, I did have an article you guys might be interested in on the baby formula itself. Let's see if I can find it. So this is the former FDA chief. Let me see if I can. Oh, hold on, no audio. This is someone's video in New York City. So they have to put it behind the security barrier. $21. Good Lord. Hold on a second here, folks. Well, okay, so I don't know what that alarm was about. So according to the article, it says the FDA dropped the ball in the country's baby formula crisis, shutting down a crucial plant on top of product recalls and did not warn parents of the ramifications. Desperate moms and dads have been trawling stores across the country in search of baby formula. Let me see if I can get that article back because it was doing weirdness to me. There we go. The Food and Drug Administration later closed the plant after federal inspectors found Abbott failed to maintain sanitary conditions. Fair enough. But they, So Abbott makes Similac, and then Gerber's separate, I think. That's where the FDA and Abbott dropped the ball. They could have recalled the product without shutting the facility down. They do recalls all the time without shutting down facilities. And yeah, you can see. And that's a lot because, I mean, what was generic baby formula back in the day, right? $6, $7. If you had a kid who was allergic, yeah, like that. Right. So some kids are allergic. Like one of my youngest boy, at some point, he got to where he had to have a special formula because he couldn't do the regular formula, gave him the runs, and then the soy made him throw up. So we had to go to like the special, and that was expensive, but we kind of got it, right? We're like, yeah, this is what the situation is. But in any case, yeah, it's this is kind of frustrating a lot of people. The administration should have known this shortage was coming and done something to prevent it. And on Friday, President Biden, who has been hammered by critics, claimed that the only better mind readers could have been more effective than his administration. His flippant comment came the day after the White House announced it would finally start clearing the way for imports of formula. I don't even know what to say about that. That's just silly. Hey, Homestead. Oh, nice. Auslander. Howdy, howdy. Pepper plant can't just start right back up either. No, it takes a while. Justin Trudeau is a pendejo, that one. I do not like him at all. I'll tell you what, I got a lot of Western Canadians now in Texas. They've requested to move down here. So there's like a pile of Canadians here. And, you grow up in Calgary, which is also cattle country and energy country. And they kind of fit well here. They just sound different, because everyone here goes y'all, they go a. But once everyone figures out where you're from, they all kind of settle down and off they go. So, folks, this is just, they're trying to create some kind of vision here and in completely throwing the rest of us under the bus in the process. And that agitates me. And Hudson actually just pointed out, let me see if I can get that video up, concerns about diesel. And I'm going to see if that video will work. But yeah, so there's no way people, yeah, that's true. They knew exactly what is going to happen. And yeah, and the ones that don't know are absolute morons. Because I believe there are plenty of useful idiots who are, if you've read the book 1984, there was one girl, whenever they had their 2-minute hate, okay, if you haven't read the book, there was mandatory videos every few days where it was in a theater, right? Because this was written in 1948. They would go to the theater and there would be played propaganda films. And there was one girl who the main character noticed had a vacant look in her eyes and just sat there, stared admiringly, would cry when the leader's faces appeared, right? When the leader came to speak to them, she'd cry. When they showed the enemy, whatever the enemy was that week, she would throw books and throw her shoes. And he said, this is what the party wanted. They wanted the blindly empty, obedient servant. And honestly, I believe there's a lot of people out there just like that. I mean, George Orwell, you read that book. I've read it again just before the Rona hit, and it scared the crap out of me because as an adult who's lived life, raised his kids, and now I'm reading that, I was in high school. I was like, yeah, whatever. The guy got beat up. You start reading it now, and it's kind of horrifying. And okay, they should just. Well, what's funny is the So Mexican workers can come in relatively easily, like because Mexico and the U.S. have had this trade agreement for years. A legitimate worker from Mexico, they go to their consulate and there's a form they fill out, and they have to provide like their sheriff, whatever, the prefectura, which is the prefecture, a document saying this person's in good standing, blah, blah, blah. He's a seasonal worker. They attach. It goes, State Department gets it. They look at it. They cross-check the FBI. This guy's good. He gets the stamp. It takes weeks, and they can be a seasonal worker. They come here, make money, go home. Nothing wrong with that. Totally cool with it. The ones sneaking in are sneaking in because they know they can't pass the right way. They can't do the paperwork to be a seasonal worker or to be a contract, and they're not coming from Mexico. The guys they're busting out here: Guatemala, Honduras, Colombia, Venezuela. But now it's getting worse. Now Iranians, Saudis, Pakistanis, Chinese, Indians. There's a slew, and oh, what lucky any of you Texans help me here. It wasn't El Campo. It's good Lord, I forgot the name of the town, but the sheriff was on the news with the local congressman, who's actually not only a Democrat, but he's a veteran. But he's one of the old style Democrats, like the working class, take care of your farmers guy. And he said, I'm disappointed in my party because what we're busting here is not families. The families will come to the Border Patrol with their children and say, hey, we need help, right? Border Patrol will take them in and they go to the shelter. No, they're busting military-aged men, a lot of them, 17 to 50-year-old. And yeah, true. I don't know. The farmers out here are planting all sorts of shit. So, but this is, again, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. They're not going to listen. They're going to do whatever. And it makes you wonder, how come, did anyone remember massive forest fires in California last year? I remember there were some. I don't remember the damn state burning down. And now, like, New Mexico's burning down, California's burning down. Granted, we're in a drought, so that may not be helping. But, oh, gee, it's an election year. California's on fire. I mean, it's a little sus. Last year we were in a drought too. They didn't have that kind of fire. Hold on, I lost Oz's convo here. Okay, no, I lost track of it. Sorry. Hey, big chap, howdy. Yeah, actually, it's funny, Oz, you mentioned that. So I'm on different platforms, and the demographics and behavior are very different. What the hell? My phone's flipping out. Russian hackers. I don't know if I ever open my phone because it has an alarm for no reason and it's all Cyrillic, then I know we're in trouble. Yeah, they usually have a few, but I don't remember. It seems like an inordinate amount. Nevada, well, not Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, because my son's father-in-law and my son's in-laws are over in Arizona, and they said they were on the far side of the mountain, but on the other side they could see the smoke coming out, and people in their church actually lost their homes. So yeah, it's but the demographics and the different, to Oz's point, the demographics and the different platforms is very interesting. They're doing that in China. I saw a video, and I need to bring that video to you. But let me get this other video here real quick, because I think you guys might enjoy this. Hudson touched on it, and he had a video. I think Sassy Gal also had a video. There were a few. I've been super busy at work, so I lost track of what everyone was talking about. And I think did you notice, Mad Dog? So there's several military or spouses of military in the chat right now. Did you notice how all of a sudden veterans are at high risk to be recruited by extremists? Really? Really? No, if you shit on them, that's what happens. That's what happened in Mexico. So the Zetas gang was actually trained by us at Fort Benning with our Rangers to be the counterterrorism group from Mexico. And then the government screwed them. So they're like, you know what? We're taking over the cartel. They were all Ranger qual. They were educated. These guys were smart. That's why the Zetas are so well organized. I don't know how big they are now, but it was all ex-military guys that got screwed over by various governments. And they're like, well, we got to make a living. So we know where all the drugs are. We'll go take them over. We have weapons. We have training. So yeah, absolutely crazy. I swear I just saw you hanging out with Jason. Yeah, I missed Jason's. I didn't realize he had a premiere this morning. And as I was setting mine up, my coffee maker kind of exploded all over the counter. And I turned around and he was like 2/3 of the way through his premiere. So I'm going to have to backtrack. Hey, Red. No idea, man. We're talking about power issues and diesel. But I'll tell you what, they got something going on in that country. Let me run with this one real quick. Oh, hold on.
But probably not enough for you or any of us to really notice. The Consumer Price Index up 8.3% in the 12 months ending back in April, a decrease from the 8.5% recorded back in March, which then marked the highest inflation level in more than 40 years. But honestly, that new number didn't really appear to do anything when it comes to gas prices. Another day, another record high. According to AAA, today's national average now sits at $4.40 a gallon. Dallas and Fort Worth, you see the numbers, $4.18, $4.17 respectively. But diesel prices, they are more than $1 higher on average. And there are real concerns in some parts of the country right now about diesel shortages that could be just around the corner. Jason Allen asked some experts today if short supplies in the Northeast, for instance, could have an impact here.
The numbers on diesel pumps are pushing closer to a 4-figure cost for trucks to fill up. And in the Northeast, totals are even higher, reaching California levels well above $6 a gallon, with concerns supplies now are getting tight.
To the degree that it's happening, it probably is going to be more localized in the Northeast.
Carr Ingham, an economist with the Texas Alliance of Energy Producers, agreed with transportation industry sources who told CBS 11 Texas is not seeing the same shortages. Moving oil into the Northeast tends to be more difficult, Ingham said, but drivers moving between the two regions will be watching it closely.
But I can almost assure you they're getting direct communication from the areas that are seeing shortages as to where those are and who that is specifically, and making any arrangements outside of that they need to ensure their return trips.
Donna Sparza said any fuel shortage and price hike is more likely to impact truck driver and company costs, which is passed on to the price you pay for items at stores.
One transportation company owner described it to me as a symptom of a larger worldwide economy still trying to straighten itself out from a virus. And Ingham said there are signs consumers may be starting to feel the pinch in their wallets.
The quantity demanded of both gasoline and diesel appears to be on the way down, and that's almost certainly in response to these high prices and the fact that they have increased as rapidly as they have.
In Haltom City, Jason Allen, CBS 11 News.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not bueno. And Red, actually, it's funny. I don't know if you saw that video I posted a while ago where I was filling gas and there was a trucker behind me, and he was filling he had a diesel 250 and he's like, chingada, and and he's cursing at the pump. And I asked him, "Are you doing okay?" He goes, "Bro, I filled up my semi and it was at the time $900." He said it used to be $450, and the pinch more like it is a smackdown. Yep, same here. And I have the big tank. But that's where it's going. Ultimately, the whole idea is to get everyone under control. They're going to start with health, with the WHO. And use that as leverage. It won't stand in a lot of countries, but they're sure as hell going to try. And it'll only stand as much as the regional and national governments want it to. But a lot of this is nonsense. Like the war in Ukraine makes no sense to me. Like, what are they accomplishing? What are they after? Yeah, it's a lot of blah is what it is. And to Oz's point, I try to dig up stories that have nothing to do with what I normally see, just to see if I can find something else. It's all about clicks at the end, right? They get more clicks, they get more money. And I think that's what it goes to now. Yeah, that's ouch. Is that gas? Not diesel, right? No, they won't. Yeah. Well, yeah, they want to disrupt the order. That's why Russia's pushing hard to sell oil in rubles, because it suddenly puts them back in the game. If you look back at the the 1980s, 1990s, the way Reagan and the Pope and the Polish and all these folks collapsed the Soviet Union was by wedging the petrodollar into Russia, right, which totally screwed them up. And then the Saudis increased production and dropped the price, and it bankrupted the Soviet Union. What we're seeing is the reverse of that. The Russians are trying to force it the other way to kick the petrodollar out. I'm not explaining it right, but yeah. But yeah, food control. Well, they're going to destroy the food is what they're going to do. And yeah, that's 1984 or Brave New World. And I think we're closing in a little more on a Brave New World, which was everybody is stimulated, everybody is entertained, they go and do their symbolic jobs, no responsibility, and whatever they can't control, they kind of cordon off, right? Oh, we can't control this area because every time we send troops there, they all die. So we'll just cordon it off, and they exist by themselves. And these guys, Orwell and Aldous Huxley, they actually were contemporaries. These guys used to talk to each other and write to each other, and they predicted a lot of the shit we're seeing right now. Like in 1984, the screens that were in every room in your bathroom, and you never knew if they were watching you or not. We carry them in our pocket. And it has a GPS too, so they can see where we've been. Really crazy, guys. No, and the U.S. has been playing empire building for too long, and it's damaged the country. Yeah. Hey, Loretta, no worries, no worries. We might be, and you know what may ultimately happen, and I still go to my shopping cart analogy. These people are just brilliant enough to create their own catastrophe. You know, if somebody suddenly decides, you know what? No, I don't want to play nicely, and they pop a nuke on someone, you want to watch the world flip out. Yeah. Yeah, and lucky, absolutely. Those of us, but keep in mind, we're the same people who actually are trying to look at this stuff objectively and go, something's not right. See, a lot of people just look at that top level news. Oh, the diesel prices are not fair, and they flip out, and that's where it stops, right? They just bitch about it. And whereas people like in the chat, which probably not good for us, we start digging like, well, why the hell did that happen? That's stupid. And so you start looking at the next one, and then Auslander, that's where you start breaking out. You break the algorithm a little bit because you start asking questions. You know, you do the 5 whys to the topic you've been handed, and then you start digging down and you start finding other stuff. And that's why some of us are worried and some aren't. Actually, it did. Have you forgotten the U.S. was on fire? They burned down entire cities and police stations, and then they rioted in the Capitol. The other side did, which I find ironic. You know, the right rioted in the Capitol one day. This country was burning for 8 months before that, and nobody said anything. It was righteous, mostly peaceful protesters. They didn't come to this part of Texas because they would have been mostly dead protesters, but still. It's, yeah, I get where you're going, Oz, most definitely. Yeah, and you know, it's funny. I actually read an article recently. It was a historical context article where they were saying that, you know, a lot of people say the Roman Empire fell on this date. It actually didn't. They lost a battle on that date, and that marked the end of its influence as an empire. And I don't remember if it was against the Gauls or the barbarians, as they referred to them, which were really Germanic at the time. But after that is when they started seeing, oh, this province was taken over by the Galatians. This province was taken over. But then they made a treaty with these guys and they intermarried and very slowly diluted. It took about 50 to 100 years for the empire to completely dissipate, but it was in pieces. So yeah, it's not like, well, it could happen like in the movies, but that would take it a massive event, right? Like an asteroid hits something, you know, then, you know, or nuclear war, something, they lose control or something. But normally it's very, yeah, definitely rabbit holes. You can get lost there. Yeah, and that's the problem. A lot of people do that. They look at just the surface. They look at the one thing and say, oh, there's no baby formula. Oh my God, there's no toilet paper. That was another one. That was silly. Yeah, former fill in the blank. Yeah, it is, it's, and you know what? Again, I think, see, and this has been tried before. The Romans tried it, and I think these knuckleheads, like I said, they're just brilliant enough to make mistakes and screw things up. The Romans took over the entire known world, but then they couldn't control it, and then the people in different areas suddenly flipped around. Even with the technology, I see it. I think we're going to wind up more like Blade Runner. Y'all remember the movie? It's going to be, you're going to have this elite class or Hunger Games, where you have these little enclaves of elitism, and they live well and healthy. And then you have these places that are absolutely destitute, but it's by design to keep them in control. See, now I've got to watch Hunger Games again. See what you guys did? Yeah. Yeah, well, you go back to the pre-World War One. So during World War One, the weird part is King Philip, the Tsar, and the Kaiser were all cousins. That's true. I did look that up. They were actually all related to Queen Victoria. They basically had a global hierarchy across Europe. And then somebody killed Archduke Ferdinand. The Austrians blamed the Croatians or the Serbs, who said they had nothing to do with it. It was just this idiot. And they invaded one guy, the other one invaded that one, and the next thing you know, it all came apart. So, yeah. So, I was mentally dyeing my hair blue. Well, Bella, it's actually somebody, what was it called? The fourth turning, or the four turnings, or something like that. There are 4 stages, and this guy, I should do a live on it. He just went back like 200 years, 300 years in both Europe and the US, and there was slightly offset between Europe and the Americas, but they do this growth and building, prosperity, decay, and then there's a collapse of some type. And then from the collapse, the survivors become wiser and they create the next build. what I think we're seeing here is an artificial version of that, and they may lose control of that. So, like Winter Soldier. Oh, well, think about it, Oz. That's not new. The kings of in the ancient days, what was the best way to do a bunker? You had a castle, right? Kings and lords had castles. They had soldiers, and they control the farms around them. It was a microcosm of what you're talking about. So that's not new. Oh, I got a project in mind for all the content creators. Yeah, we've been a bunch of people have been in the background coming up with stuff. So before I leave you guys today, because I want to get my work done before it gets too hot outside, I did want to share something with you guys. Somebody sent me this one, and this one kind of floored me. I'm going to see if I can share it so you guys can see this. Hola, bienvenidos. And by the way, guys, check out Canal Prepas Argentina. I do watch him. Unfortunately, we're in completely different time zones. That's a great channel to watch. And if you need translation, call me or Red. I think Lucky speaks Spanish too. So, but yeah. And folks, we're all in this, right? Argentina. I have a lot of folks from, and he can speak to it. Argentina, Brazil, Colombia. We don't hear much from Venezuela anymore, but there's a lot of people on Instagram that are from South America. Folks, if one of my mods is on, can you throw the link up there? It's now with English subtitles. Awesome. Pueden practicar. They can still practice their Spanish. Thank you, Klingon. So, and they're dealing with the same things there. I owe you an email, by the way, friend. But never. Wait, what are we nevering? Join the metaverse and upload your mind and live forever with Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg's a pendejo too. I stopped going on faith. You know, we did an experiment, me and a fraternity brother from college. Yeah, there was all blue collar kids in a fraternity, so you know we were drunk all the time. He would post things about his family, you know, picture of his cat, picture of his kid, whatever, because we were convinced they were screwing with us. And then every now and then, he was a Democrat, right? I'm a little more to the right, but we're like, all right, I want you to post something against Trump on purpose on Thursday. He goes, okay. And I would do something against Clinton at the time on Monday. And we did that for 3 weeks. The only post of his I saw for the entire week was the political one. I didn't see his kids. I didn't see his dogs. I didn't see him cooking a cake with his niece and nephew. No, just that. So that, to Oz's point, they do manipulate and cause problems. And think about it. They break up families. They break up friendships. Why? And then who gains the most out of it? Yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah, Argentina, by the way, is beautiful, especially Neuquén, because I've been there on the west. No, Neuquén is south. Absolutely beautiful. The countryside, the water, I mean, it's phenomenal. And there's bird hunting there for those of you who like birds. So, yeah, again. So, guys, one thing I want to leave you with today is this video came to me. Well, first I want to share another article, because as times get hard, we're going to see people do horrendous stuff. And I don't know if you guys saw this one. Let me make sure you guys can actually see what I'm doing here. What we know about the Texas teen abducted from a Dallas Mavericks game. A 15-year-old girl went missing after using the restroom in the Dallas Mavericks game. At the Dallas Mavericks game, the teen was later found a week and a half later, was sex trafficked in an Oklahoma hotel. The family recently spoke to through their attorney last week, saying the Dallas PD, American Airlines Center, the Dallas Mavericks, Extended Stay America were negligent in preventing the situation. So they're gonna hit them where it hurts and take money. Father said he called North Richmond Hills police that night. Fortenberry said NRH police weren't able to help because, as they said, the incident happened in Dallas. It was not their jurisdiction. Fortenberry said Houston-based traffic agency Texas Counter Trafficking Initiative was able to use face recognition technology to locate the girl from a hotel. That is the third time I've seen that happen. One, I was actually involved in searching for the kid back in Houston. Okay, Lucky, I'll keep an eye out for it. Wait, did Sassy jump in here? Mi amigo de Argentina, you have a new sub here. Unknown Vector. Thank you, guys. Welcome to my live. Shadow banned everywhere. Well, you're doing something right if you're getting shadow banned, unless you're making terroristic threats. And somebody else jumped in here. So, yeah, they're crazy sick. And this girl literally with her dad. Now, 15-year-old is not a small kid, right? It's not a little munchkin. This is a young woman. She went to the restroom and never came back. I've told this story before. In Houston, we saw a posting in our community pages about a missing girl. And we thought, you know, usually 15, 17, they ran away, right? You would think. Not so much. According to the story, I reached out to it was a teacher from one of the schools was coordinating getting the awareness out. The girl Thursday after school said, Mom, I'm going to Taco Bell with so-and-so. So they literally went from like the high school to the Taco Bell. This was a high school girl. At 3:30 in the afternoon, it's like the middle of the freaking day, middle of the freaking work week. She never came home. The mom couldn't get a hold of the boy that night, got a hold of the mom of the boy the next day. By then, the law was involved. Spoke to the boy on speaker with the mom. The boy said, oh, no, I left Taco Bell and she was fine. So the cops got involved. They went to the video and saw when the couple arrived, there were 4 guys at another table in the Taco Bell. As they got up to leave, the 4 guys followed them out. In the parking lot, only the boy gets back in his car and leaves. The girl is no longer in the camera. They grabbed her in the parking lot. What the kid did was bring the girl to be taken away. So they started searching his old social media posts, and he was saying that he's making dollars pimping girls or something like that. And so once the cops caught wind of that, then they really started digging, and lo and behold, they found her about a week and a half later in a brothel. And she was not in good shape. Apparently she fought back, and so to subdue her, they stuck her with heroin. And for a young kid to get dosed with heroin like that, that's not bueno. So that kid had a long road to recovery. They come out of the damn blue. Yeah, and this is true. Argentina, one of the world's richest countries, just like Venezuela. And then, yeah, the populism arrived. Hey, at Militant, you have a new sub. Sorry, Bella. Someone drop the link, please. Wait, which link? Candy. Yeah, they just flipped it over. All right, Hudson. Yeah, I'm going to have to do the same. Okay, you got it? Awesome. I got to get stable. And by the way, the 5-gallon gas cans, the red plastic ones, are $23 freaking now. I went to get an extra one, and yeah, you can't you can't go to the store and buy 8 of them like you used to and pay $40. Not anymore. So, wow. Okay, so there was a rescue, and they videoed the rescue, and it was really weird. So just to give you guys some context, the young lady was struggling in a vehicle, and these guys were working in their yards. One was working on the roof of a house and saw her in a car. So he yelled to his buddy across the street, hey, there's a girl in trouble. So all these guys walk to the car. The person who had the girl dumps her out of the car and takes off. And I'll show you what they found. The guy's wife started recording it. So let me see if I can get it.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, we need a rag or something, y'all.
Hey, get us something out of my house.
Just get some more. That's all I. A roll of toilet paper in the car. Let me see.
Keith, leave that on there. They might have to stitch it. Leave that on there. They might have to stitch that.
No, don't touch it. All right.
They might have to stitch that.
He was banned, tape, duct tape, mouth, and everything.
Okay, but here's one thing. You shouldn't have touched nothing.
What?
You should have left reading being called for fingerprints.
Oh.
Well, they can still get fingerprints.
Again,
Yeah. The duct tape.
They're driving a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, look, she was like this though, bro.
We got it.
And she was super lucky, that girl. So they did rescue her. I couldn't find the follow-up. And what you saw in her hair was duct tape. If you heard that guy on the left who didn't have a shirt, he came running out of his kitchen. Apparently, he saw this commotion, and he's like, that girl's in trouble. He run out. She was bound. She was basically like a little mummy. They had her mouth taped and everything, so they were trying to help her out. Watch your kids. Watch your neighbors' kids. Now's the time for good people to be their brother and sister's keeper. And I know it's tough because you don't know who to trust half the time. And Lucky and I had a whole conversation about knowing who to trust. But keep an eye out for each other. You know, you're in the shopping mall or you're in the grocery store and you see a mom or a dad with a bunch of kids trying to load groceries. If you're not in a rush, hang out for a sec, even if you're just sitting in your car. Keep eyes on them. Make sure that dad or that mom is able to get the kids in the car, get their stuff in the car, clothes. Once they're in the car, they lock the doors. I'm golden. I can move on. The fact that you're there, remember, and I, who said this? I don't know if it was Templar or someone else, one of these combatives instructors. He said a wolf or a hyena will not go fight with another hyena, right? They're going to look for something weaker. The wolf will look for the sheep, right? The wolf is not going to go attack a sheep knowing the German Shepherd's standing there, right? He won't go and attack the sheep if a llama's there and the llama will come and kick the crap out of him. He doesn't want the llama. He doesn't want the sheepdog. He doesn't want a commotion. And that's their nature. So don't keep an eye out for each other, folks. Student aluminum has gone up here. Holy shit. I believe it. Made out of metal is going the same route as fuel. Yep. No. Yeah, Sassy Gal, that was, I'm glad. See, and sadly in Argentina, I did ask my friends, and he can elaborate, but firearms you can get, but they're very difficult to come by. Yeah, there you go. Lucky is going to do the live tomorrow on the trust thing. Yeah, Timber's gonna, and that's, notice also, that's how the middle class created their own wealth, right? Through home ownership, and they're trying to make that go away. Time to carry, definitely. And get the training too. If you don't have a good training class, train at home, but carefully. Obviously, clear your weapon, take bullets out of the room if you have to. Learn how to draw your firearm, learn how to reload the magazines. You want to do a very simple game. Clear your living room, clear the firearm, draw it, put a target, help put a paper with an X on it. All right, that's the bad guy. Draw, put your pistol back. Draw again, put your pistol back. Then draw, swap the mag. Then when you start getting comfortable with that, go backwards while you're doing it. And you'll trip on the dog and fall, and just don't give yourself a concussion. These are little drills you can do. When we used to shoot, we had a group used to do 3-gun. That's how I train. I'd wait till the kids were at school. If I had a day to myself, I'd get in the living room or the backyard because I had high fences. I'd draw, drop mag, swap mags, move backwards, move left, move right. So it became second nature, the whole drawing and moving thing. If you're not carrying a firearm, something else, pepper spray, be able to deploy it quickly. With your right hand, with your left hand, be able to move while you're taking it out of your purse or out of your pocket. They're going to try, us. They're going to try for sure. You know what? The evil usually hides in obvious places. Right. Keep in mind, predators in nature don't stand there in all their glory roaring in the plains. No, they hide. They use camouflage to get close to the prey, to get the prey. Predators, human predators, are no different. They will disguise themselves as something not dangerous until they become dangerous. So, yep. Yeah, and we have work to do. Those of us who choose to answer that call, at the very least, do what you can to help other people. Yeah, Carl, I gotta clear my shed here, and well, the middle of it, and then rearrange it, and that should conclude my work outside. Then I'm rebuilding a rifle. So, and Big Chap, your gut instincts is your ancient instincts telling you something's wrong. Unfortunately, we've allowed our modern mind to overrule us a lot. But that is their basic instinct to flee. That's their primal, like, animal instinct saying danger. So absolutely. And you know what? If they're not in martial arts, which would surprise me, stick them in. Even if it's what's that shit that Billy Banks used to teach, Taibo or whatever, the cardio kickboxing. Somebody grabbed a girl, a runner here in my part of Texas. She was running, she used to run every morning. And there were times I'd pass her in the mornings. And obviously not me not running anywhere near as fast as she could because she was a lot healthier than me. But she was going, and they grabbed her, and she didn't know martial arts, but she did that Taibo Pilates, the little kickboxing thing. And she smacked the crap out of this guy. And she flipped out. She just became a cat. But she was kicking and punching, and the guy ran off, and they caught him not 10 minutes later. But yes. Yeah, a hand signal. No, definitely not. Well, the gunshot itself, man, come on now. Magic. Actually, those will hurt the crap out of someone. And actually, there is on the market it looks like a paint gun. It looks like actually like a BB gun. It shoots pepper spray pellets. And they actually had a cop and a soldier on one of the videos. One shot the other one, like he put his plate on. They said, "Okay, I'm going to shoot your plate," and he shot the crap, and it created this big old cloud. The other guy was like, and he was running around drooling and coughing up, to the amusement of his buddy. But yeah, they won't. You're going to look at the guy in a hoodie with a mask. Oh, look, it's an Antifa, right? You're not going to the guy in the suit. The guy in the suit could be the biggest damn pedo or rapist or whatever. You wouldn't know. Yep, they will. That's absolutely true. Hey, farmer's son. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, that's important. Yep. That's absolutely true. And you need to have that. I was very unfiltered with my kids, and a lot of parents scolded me for it. You shouldn't tell your kids, because I tell them, you go out there and you're going to get raped, or you're going to get beaten to death, or you're going to find crackheads. And other parents are like, we don't say that to our kids. I said, you're going to send your children out in the world unprepared, because at 15, 16, your girls need to know what's going on out there. Your boys need to know what's going on out there. You know, even the little ones, hey, don't talk to strangers. You keep it simple for the small ones. But when they get bigger, they do their kids no justice. Oh yeah, no, it was, hey, yeah, that must have been funny, but they will. Vector's absolutely right. That went sideways, so. Yeah, your kids need to know the truth. And obviously, you would talk to a 6-year-old differently than a 16-year-old. But by the time they're 16, if I ever get my daughter on a live, I'll let her tell you herself. But I told her when she got her first place, I said, you have one rule or I'll come and kick your ass. And she knows I will. And she's like, what's that? And I said, don't be the YouTube chick. And she goes, you're stupid, Dad. I kid you not. 3 months later, she's on the apartment patio with her girlfriends. They had pizza and beer. The girls were just having a good time. End of work week. And she calls me. And the girls were way drunk. And they're like, Mr. Pete. I'm like, what are y'all drinking? Doesn't matter. The YouTube chick, she's in the pool. Apparently some girl in a pool full of young people decided to take all her clothes off and jump in the pool naked. All the phones came out. And my daughter says, Dad, that girl's going to regret that when her children see it 10 years from now, won't she? I said, probably so, babe. She goes, I'm glad you told me not to be the YouTube chick. And then she hung up on me. But even in their beer-induced stupor, her little circle was smart enough to know not to be that girl. So don't be that person. Absolutely. Kids absolutely need to know the truth, guys. Yeah. So, yeah, watch where you put your money and watch where you tell your kids, watch where they put themselves. A 15-year-old in a stadium full of security, and she disappeared. To me, it's almost, I'm wondering if some of the workers weren't involved. One guy grabs her and they open the workers only door and there she went. I mean, think about it. That's a lot of money for a human being. If you don't think slavery exists today, it does. It's just not based on color anymore. It's based on victimization. Yeah, so. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've stopped talking to people I'd known for years for that very reason. Because they're, yeah, definitely. So, gang, I'm going to have to get to work before it gets silly hot out here. It's 79 now. That's a perfect temperature to work in because it will be 103 by 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I don't want to be in that. So, friends, look, watch your back, watch each other's six, watch the kids, watch your neighbor. Just pay attention, right? And as Oz pointed out earlier, a little critical thought. Look at what you see and then start asking questions. In OSHA environments, it's the 5 whys. Somebody had an accident. Why? Well, he got pinched in the door. Well, why did he get pinched in the door? Because he put his hand in the hinge. Well, why did he put his hand in the hinge? Because there was no door stop. Why wasn't there a door stop? You see what I'm saying? Because they didn't think the wind would be that strong. Okay, so now we need a door stop on that door so people don't get pinched in the wind. Ask those questions. Be safe. Yes, grow food. And yeah, I will hydrate. I learned that lesson last week. You guys be safe and stay careful out there. I will see you guys next week.